but 50% of our business is repeat and referral.
Yeah, that's how we are.
And what's crazy about that, I heard Alex Hormozy say this once, spending money on ads and advertising is linear, right? You can only get so much out of. At a certain point, your return on investment, as you start spending more on ads, it caps out and it doesn't make sense anymore because there's only so many people you can reach through an ad. But referrals are exponential.
When we started, we were like, if you do a good job, people will talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, and just keep doing a good job.
Especially
just
if you can
sure,
infiltrate
no matter
the
what,
car
that
show
job,
scene.
that person is happy and they will tell their friends.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Born to Tint podcast with the Miller Brothers. I'm Josh, and Ricky's not here today. Had a really fun conversation today with Mike and Jessica with Wrap Sesh out of Gilbert, Arizona, in town for a trade show right now. They're going to be back at SEMA show this year. Check them out. Awesome conversation.
We haven't done a live podcast filming like in forever.
No.
It's usually like remote over the computer.
Yeah, we've done some over the computer before.
Yeah, when we started this, we actually started with, you know who Ryan Pineda is?
It sounds familiar.
So he's local out here who's big into real estate, and he has his own podcast, which kind of blew him up right around COVID. And then he started offering a program to basically produce your podcast for you.
Nice.
And if we were going to do one, we didn't want to do it remote. We wanted to be like live in person.
Yeah.
So the fact that he had a studio and a team to do all the editing and everything,
yeah,
we're like, all right, that's what we're going to do. So we teamed up with him. We were doing it in his studio for the first year, basically. And then SEMA this year is when we finally got this built out to move it into here.
Nice.
Cool.
But we kind of wanted to avoid remote if at all possible.
Yeah, I feel like it's better to be in person.
Yeah.
You're just...
The clips come out, I feel like, a lot better, and the conversation feels a little bit more authentic. You don't have the lag of... Have you done other podcasts?
A couple.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time, yeah.
But you guys, are you... So I don't know the dynamic here. Are you part of the Vinyl Vixen?
No, well, so Wrap Sesh is our shop.
Okay.
That's what we're both owners of Wrap Sesh.
Okay.
And then
the Vinyl Vixen Wraps is almost just like a sister brand of it. Like I actually started that Instagram page when I started rapping before we had a shop. And it like, by the time we started Wrap Sesh, that page already had so much traction that it was like, well, we don't want to call the shop Vinyl Vixen Wraps because that's like, it should be like 50-50 equal credit kind of thing, you know, because he got me into rapping. But like, we also don't want to throw it away because it's doing so well. So we kind of just like, some people know us as Vinyl Vixen Wraps, some people know us as Wrap Sesh, but it's like, I don't really care what you call us. Like, you can call us, pay me money, you can call me whatever
Wrap
you want.
Sesh is the shop though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you guys out of?
We're in Gilbert, Arizona. So it's like a suburb of Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Awesome. That's not far at all.
No.
Yeah.
5-hour drive.
I'm like out of the loop on a lot of the scheduling we do in here. So I kind of show up and I meet people and I'm like, don't know much about you.
That's
so how long have you been rapping for?
Ooh, probably.
So we've been under Wrap Sesh. We've been on our own pretty much since 2015. So working for ourselves the last decade, which is a pretty cool accomplishment. I never thought I'd be doing that. And then rapping wise,
I had been rapping like 2 years before through 3 years.
Probably about 12.
So I've had at least 13
total.
years.
Maybe 12 or 13 years. Yeah.
And then we met, and then she apprenticed under me for a while.
Yeah. So basically we met and started dating, and I like came to the shop that he was working at and watched him wrap a bumper, and like the whole vinyl thing was totally new to me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is really cool. Like he just like made this sticker turn into a bumper. Like what the heck? And so like I was kind of like picking his brain on it and was just like, well, like, are there girls that do this? And he's like subcontracted with like big companies. So he's been in a couple different states. A lot of people knew him at this point in time, 10 years ago. And he was like, honestly, he's like, I don't even know a single female installer.
Yeah.
Like it's too rare. Like sometimes they'll do the design work or work the front office, but I'm not really seeing women do that. And so I know I wasn't the first. You know what I mean? There's definitely many before me, but it was so rare and there was no online presence for them. And so I was like, I could do this. Like, why can't I do this? Like, I could be like good with my hands. And like, I'm not necessarily like a car person. Like, I'm not mechanically inclined like how he is. But I was like, well, I don't see why I can't do this. Yeah. So we convinced his boss to basically let me apprentice under him. So he was my mentor like from day one. We've been rapping together and working together. And we worked at that shop for about 1.5 years. And then like literally just had a falling out with him, and the boss like gave us an ultimatum of like, if you don't like it, you can leave. And I'm the type of girl that's like, okay, bye. And so we kind of like started our business out of spite. Like we were kind of like, okay, you're not gonna let us do the best work that we want to do and like take it above and beyond. Like then we're gonna just do this on our own.
He was hindering what we were capable of. Like we weren't able to do what we wanted to because he was just trying to cut corners so many times, and so we were just like, well, we need to do our own thing.
So I always say that like we kind of started our business out of spite, and like, but I use spite in a good way. Like it's very motivating to me when someone underestimates me or says like, no one's going to take you seriously. You have green hair. Like you're just like this little girl, like have fun with that. And it's like, you almost created me as competition out of that because you didn't believe in me, you know? And now we're one of the bigger, well-known names in our area, at least. And like, that's just really cool that we've been able to do our own thing for the last 10 years together.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. And the females in the industry, like whether it's the tint side or vinyl, it's cool to see that it's more and more.
Yeah.
Because it's an art. And I feel like it actually, there's a lot of artistic women out there that would enjoy doing
Most of
it.
them are more patient too.
Yeah. They can be patient and very detail oriented. So they do really well with that kind of stuff. But it is crazy to see how far the industry's come in the past decade with female installers. I mean, now I go to shows and like I have a group of girls that I like to hang out with, and they all have tattoos and colored hair and leggings, and we're all just like best friends. And it's very like, yes, girl supportive kind of scene. So I do really enjoy that.
I think the biggest thing for like, is the actual labor of like doing installs is what like most girls have a problem with.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot of labor. It can be.
I think some people don't realize how, I mean, I have my employees back home right now and they're complaining about needing to take the day off because they had a removal all day. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm sorry. I know it sucks, but this is part of install. You have to be able to do a removal, and it just sucks and you have to do it.
Sometimes you got to do removal out in the sun. Sometimes you got to wrap a car out in the sun. Like there's certain situations where you just have to make it work, and that's part of being an installer. We always
say like as an installer, that's like the biggest skill you need to have is just being able to make things work and being adaptable to a situation.
It's the same exact thing with windows. We were lucky enough to just grow up in the industry, so our dad just taught us through osmosis that we were around it so much that I was like, this is what you do. If you have to stay at the shop till 9 o'clock at night to finish a job, you're gonna be there and do it. What's crazy is my younger sister, she's now in the business, but she's like, she went to college. When she was younger, there was no ambition whatsoever to be in the business. And the mindset of my dad back then was like, I'm going to teach the boys to tint. And I don't even think there was any effort to even teach her how to tint. But now she's back kind of working admin, HR, doing all that. She still does an install. But even my mom she was on and she was like, man, I wish I would have learned how to install it. Would have been helpful for the business, definitely, to have an extra person. But the culture of people realizing that's even an option now is awesome.
Definitely.
I want my daughters to see this episode. I'm going to have to actually play this for them because I've got 2 teenage daughters that they don't want anything to do with me down here.
Our tent guy that we use, we've been using him literally since we started our company, and he's just really good dude. He does really good work. And so we've always worked together. And he recently has started using his daughters to come in and
I love that people like make it a family business.
It's like a family thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, what's cool is you see that across the whole industry. I like going to like WFCT or SEMA and seeing how many people bring their kids now and how many of them there's a second generation tinner, and having grown up in it, it's a trade that kind of seems you have to almost. I mean, like, why not? It's a good paying trade, even if you're just installing. You can do it anywhere.
There's more work than everyone knows what to do with.
I've got a teenage stepson who's 15, and I keep trying to get him down. Like, dude, get down here. Like, you're going to get trained to learn how to do this job that pays really well before you're even out of high school. If you get out of high school, you don't have a wife and kids and bills, man, you could go do anything. You want to go spend a summer in Florida and then go spend the winter in Australia.
You can install anywhere.
You could easily go do that and have a really good income. Kind of all over the place. And
I think that's one thing that's kind of special within our industry is that like it really is a model of like perfect your trade and then get paid. And there's a lot of different routes to do that. So it's not like, if you want to be an electrician and you want to go through an expedited schooling process and go for 12 months, you have to do that schooling and get that certification. And it's like with wrapping and tinting and PPF, like you could go take one course, and get certified and like kind of get the hands-on that you need to start applying that to doing installs.
Yep.
Or you do like what we did, which was more of an apprenticeship style. Like basically I put in my free time to come and learn with a really, really good teacher. And then, once I got good enough, then they hired me on, and then that became like my full-time shindig. So I like that there's no one specific path. Like you could go a lot of different ways, and it can be quick. And if you really put that effort into it, it's going to show in your work and you're going to get good really fast.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's all about how much effort you want to put in.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the apprenticeship model. Like I kind of was just born into it, and I didn't even know that's what I was doing. But that's what we do now when we hire people. We're mostly trying to hire people that have no experience but a good attitude.
Because you want them to be a sponge and
that's how I learned. I learned at a shop that was willing to hire me on. I had mechanical experience, but that was it. I was like, I'm good with my hands, and they were just like, yeah, we want somebody who we can kind of like train how we want. And that's kind of how I got in there. And then, so we've been doing like a paid apprenticeship, but like if somebody came to me and was like, I'm willing to work, like, 100%.
Like, let's see if you'll put in the effort.
You're that into it that you're willing to come do it for free.
If you
that
care
says
enough,
a lot.
If you care enough, you'll catch on pretty easy. It really, like if you don't care about it too much, it's going to take a while. But like if you really care and it's a passion for you,
it's going to show.
It's going to show, and you're going to catch on. You'll catch on.
Totally. I mean, we've had so many people on now, whether it's tint or vinyl. We actually just had a kid on recently. It started when he was like 15, wanted to wrap his own vehicle. Yeah. And now he's 6 years in, has his own business. He's doing tint, wraps, PPF, doing everything. And
nice.
He did his own car and was like, oh, I can do this. And we've had so many stories. My dad's the same way. Right out of high school, he was doing cabinets in a tint shop in, I think, Simi Valley, California. And while he was in there finishing the cabinets, they went from not having any work to their first Yellow Page ad coming out, doing like $3,000 a day. And he's like finishing these cabinets up like, I could do that. Bought a roll of film. By the end of a 20-inch roll of film, he finished tinting his truck, and he's like, okay. And then he started the business. Like, there's so many people that have that story, like right out of high school, just because they wanted to do their own vehicle. And then, I can do this.
I can do this, so maybe I can do it for other people.
I actually love like finding other wrap couples and stuff too that own businesses together. They're little mom and pops. Like you can really connect with a lot of different couples that are like that. And you guys can all share the same struggles, whether it's tint or PPF or wrap. And it's just really cool seeing people that, we'll meet like fans that are like, oh my gosh, like we literally quit our jobs and started a business because of you. And you're like, because of me?
Because of
like,
our YouTube channel.
Why?
I was
why
like,
would
that's
you
crazy.
follow? I don't even know what I'm doing. What are you talking about? And so I love finding those people and connecting with them.
Yeah, that's wild. And you guys have a way bigger social media presence than we do. We've just really started getting serious with it in the last like 2 years. Been pushing for it for a while. But even us right now, the podcast has only been out a year and a half. Tinner battles we went to last year, we had people coming up to us saying the same thing. And I'm like, man, I think they're messing with us. There's no way that's real. And it's crazy, like what kind of impact you can have when you couple something you're passionate about and good at and social media. Because I think that's the linchpin right now. For us, the growth we've been going through has been completely because we've finally taken social media. Like we've got the craft down. Now it's get better at the business side and scaling.
That's how,
that's how social media is like a linchpin to that. People need to know what you do in order to, especially like architectural tint right now. Most people don't know they can tint their house. So since we've been putting more content out, we went from doing 25 to 30 consultations a week in the middle of the summer to doing 90 a week in the winter.
Jeez.
And that's all on the back of just putting content out. And I'm going on the consultations. That's all I do right now, sales. And over and over and over again, I hear people say, I didn't even know I could do this. And I saw your guys' Instagram video.
I mean, you really don't realize how much effect it has. Because like when we started our YouTube channel, we were just like, we're just going to make.
No, it really is because people kept demanding it. They wanted us to do it, and I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
We kept doing time lapses, and everyone
really
loved the
popular time lapses. And then they're like, no, we need you to train us. We need full YouTube videos.
But we started doing that, but like we didn't realize how much of an impact we were making until the first time we went to WrapsCon.
Oh, the first time we went to a trade show was pretty wild. Crazy. Like we think we're this little tiny fish in the sea, little mom and pop shop. Like we were gaining a following online, but we had never actually been in person.
We've never been out anywhere.
Yeah.
And the first trade show we went to was RapsCon Long Beach. It was like 2015, 2016 or something. And literally walking in, like the entrance, somebody was ahead of us. I think it was Wrap Sesh. And he like turns around and gives me like a double take, and he was like, I know you. And I was like, no, you don't. And he's like, yes, I do. We all know you. And we're like, what? Like, and it was kind of like starstruck.
It was weird.
It was like, we were kind of shell-shocked.
We didn't really know how to act.
We didn't know how to act because everyone's like, oh my gosh, I love you guys. I love what you do. And we're like, do you even know my name? Like, okay.
But it was really cool. Like just to get that, everyone was just like, and then a few years later, that's when everyone was like, yeah, we quit our jobs. We started this because we were watching your
How many subscribers were you at your YouTube at that point?
We didn't even have YouTube yet at that point.
We
were only like on Instagram.
Yeah. What was your Instagram at?
Maybe 15, 20,000.
When did we start on YouTube? It was,
I don't know.
Probably
it was
2
a couple years in.
Yeah. We started it.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. I think people massively undervalue what even a following of a couple thousand people can do.
It's crazy.
When it's so specifically like they're following you for the reason of what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
People, I think, over compare themselves to the Mr. Beasts of the world. And like, you don't need 1 million subscribers or followers to make a big impact.
No, it's actually crazy,
definitely.
Even outside of the rap industry, like just where people will recognize us at. Like I had a freaking police officer, like security guard following me around the grocery store. And I'm like, he thinks I'm stealing. Like he is like scoping me out. I'm like getting paranoid. I'm like, I'm freaking out. Like, why is he following me? And then he like comes up to us at the bagging area. And he's like, oh yeah, how do you guys transport your Great Danes around with you? They're so big. And he's like, yeah, I know who you are. You guys are Wrap Sesh. And I was like, well, could you just tell me that like up front so I'm not freaking out?
Trying to check out at the grocery store.
That's wild. Yeah,
we run into people at the weirdest places too.
Weirdest places.
This last year was like my first real experience of that because our following's growing a little bit. At Tinner Battles was like, it kind of blew my mind. And then recently here locally, I'm gonna say it. I went into the dispensary a couple weeks ago, and as I'm getting in line, one of the bud tenders literally is like,
who you were?
You're the tint dude. I see you on Instagram all the time. I'm like,
that's awesome.
I was like, oh wow. At my kids' sports, anything I go to for my kids' wrestling or track or whatever, I'll see people.
Somebody will know you.
Yeah. And
it's crazy.
Your ad just popped up on my Instagram in the parking lot. Like, oh wow, that's
wild. But honestly,
that's
like
cool.
it just feels so nice to be so appreciated for being passionate about what you do. For somebody to recognize you and be like, I know who you are. You inspired me to do this, or like your guys' work is so amazing. Like that just it's good feels.
It makes it worth it.
It makes it worth it because you're like, okay, this is why I work my ass off. This is why I do put all this effort into this content to like help other people in this indirect like butterfly effect kind of way. And so it's cool, especially coming into trade shows and really getting to actually meet and connect with people is so much different than just like commenting with each other and DMing and stuff online. Like I hate that. I love getting to meet people and like actually get to spend time with them and hear about their setup and what they're doing and you know all that kind of stuff. It's just awesome.
We've made a lot of really good friends.
Really good friends just coming out to these shows.
What's cool is it's great for the whole industry. Everybody's growing and learning a lot faster. One of the guests we had on was in Canada, started tinting about the same time my dad did. My dad figured out shrinking in California, like being able to shrink a back window in the late 80s. And it didn't make it up to Canada for that guy until like the mid 90s.
No way.
There's no YouTube. Like it was like when like little trade secrets and install tips people would figure it out. It would take years to make it across the country or just even to Canada. Now it's like soon as somebody figures something out, there's a video out explaining it and or even a brand new tool that's been created because there's a need for it. That the pace of innovation that's happening in whether it's vinyl or tint or PPF is wild to see right now. I remember only having 3 tools to use, and now you've got like Fusion with this crazy catalog.
I remember like when knifeless tape we use a lot, but I remember we didn't before we had knifeless tape. You had to hand cut everything.
It's like before the internet. This is what we did. Wait, you didn't have knifeless tape? What?
It's wild. You had to do things totally different, and it changes things around. But like I was talking to a dude at the show today, and he was like, dude, I'm in like the audio video industry. And he's like, I'm kind of wanting to get into this industry. And he's like, I just noticed that like everyone in this industry is so open about Like he's like, if you have a question about something,
transparency,
everybody will tell you exactly how to do it. Yeah. They'll tell you their secrets. They'll tell you everything. Like nobody cares because there's so much work to go around. There's no competition. It's just like
the industry is big, but it's small. It's very tight knit. It's very like family oriented. Like that's why we love coming to these trade shows, is just to spend time with our friends that we only get to see their stuff online like all year round, you know, and we get to meet people that are like idols to us that are from overseas, you know? And so it's just a really good opportunity to connect with people.
But he was like, in my industry, he's like, if you ask somebody how to do something, they'll tell you to screw off.
I'm not going to tell you anything.
I'm not going to tell you my
That's how the tin
secrets.
industry used to be.
Really?
Yeah. I think a big catalyst for change has been social media.
Yeah. Everyone can help each other out.
Yeah.
You can,
and the trade shows too.
Yeah.
More and more people are actually going to those.
You're making friends. And then you're like, these people aren't my enemies. Like they're 5 miles away from me, but like, it's okay. There's plenty of work to go around.
Yeah. For us, going to the Panorama meeting. So SolarGuard has like a Panorama Pro network that every year they would have that meeting. And that was the first taste that I think the tin industry, or at least we had of that, where all of a sudden it's a bunch of dealers from all over the country. Nobody's actually in your territory and everybody is willing to share with each other. But now that's spread outside of these small little niches inside of like manufacturers groups to just everybody's doing it with everybody, because there is way more work than any of us could ever do.
There's so much. It's crazy. Like there's some shops that are like, they complain sometimes that we've talked to that they have slow seasons and stuff, but like we've never really gotten slow. Like
I've never struggled to book work. If anything, slow. We can't keep up with it.
We've literally sent work to other shops, and we have shops that send us work.
Oh yeah,
it's just,
we're all about collaboration, not competition.
Exactly.
Even though Phoenix is super oversaturated with sign and graphic and wrap shops, there's
8 million people there.
So many of them. Huge. There's still too much work to be able to keep track of. And so like we get shops, like anything that's difficult that they don't want to do, underhoods, door jams, motorcycles, helmets, they send them straight to us. We get referrals from other wrap shops.
Niche of things that we do though.
And if somebody reaches out to us and they need help like doing an install and just need to hire us or like whatever, like we'll help them out. Or they need advice. People call us all the time just to like pick our brain, and I'll take the time to talk to them. Like I don't care if they're down the street, you know, it's whatever. Like, and I feel like if you put that kind of energy out there, it's going to come back to you like 100%. In a positive way as well.
I think that's a big part of your success. Like the fact that you had social media popping early and you focused on it, and then that attitude. Yeah. Because the two of those combined,
it grows the industry in a better way.
There are like some business owners that I've talked to before where they're like, oh, do you keep track of this person and their competition? He's like, I'm always scoping their page and seeing what their pricing is and having someone call and figure stuff out. And I'm like, who has time for that?
I never even notice any.
I am so wrapped up in what I'm doing and like being better and beating myself. Like I don't have time to sit and like babysit and like,
we focus on our own thing, doing? And that's all you focus on your own
shit, and that's all you gotta do.
In my mind, it comes down to growth mindset, fixed mindset, right? The growth mindset person is like, let's grow the pie. That's totally my attitude on creating content, even for residential, commercial tint. If that video goes out and the person ends up not remembering whose video it was, and they go on Google and they don't find us and they go to the shop down the road, that was an extra job that was created for everybody here in town that wouldn't have happened if that person didn't even know this option was available. So rather than fighting for how many people are searching home window tint on Google, which is a finite number, and we're all going to battle and bid out on that, let's create more customers, because there's plenty of homes out there that don't have film on them, or vehicles that aren't wrapped, and people don't even know what options are available with wrap. They see one really cool video and all of a sudden now they're hooked on the idea of I'm going to wrap my next car. That you're creating a bigger pie rather than fighting over the old pie.
Little pieces.
You're creating more customers.
And then focusing on just growing yourself and not putting any energy into trying to defeat the competition. The only competition you should have is yourself yesterday. And if you're constantly focusing on that, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing.
Absolutely.
That's all that matters. It's really just if you're worried about everyone else the whole time, you're not worried about yourself. And then you're gonna lose. You're not gonna work out.
It takes a lot of energy to spy on someone at that level.
And then it's just not gonna work out. You're gonna try to.
There's a podcast I listen to, Andy Stump, Cleared Hot. He's like a Navy SEAL who's got a podcast. He's up in like Montana now. He was a guest on Rogan who got told to like start your own podcast. And I pretty much listened to all of his episodes, but he put it down this way one time. If if the things you can control in the world was like a dartboard, the bullseyes where you have the most control, and as you work your way out, you have less control. And too many people are focused on things they can't control rather than the things that they can control.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the more you focus on the things you can control, how you can improve, you'll see that spread around you. And then all of a sudden the influence you have grows. The fact that people are coming up to you at trade shows that you've never met. And like that was because you were focused on you and growing you and trying to make the best content you could make, which is benefiting your business and your brand. But at the same time, that influence is spreading. Like that idea to me, like as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I stopped paying attention to politics and the news and like, man, I'm wasting so much time every day focusing on shit I can't control. Maybe I should focus on the thing I can control.
Yeah. If you focus on something you can't control all the time, it's gonna make you crazy.
Yeah.
You can't control it.
I think that's what's happening to most of the world right now. That's going insane on social media. Is like they're arguing over shit they can't control,
but they can't do anything about it.
Yeah. And like, how frustrated would you be like just focusing on something you can't control all day? Yeah. Which unfortunately, that's the downside to social media. Yeah. But I feel like it's like anything, right? Like there's a positive and a negative. And moderation. What do you focus on? Yeah. And for me, don't let the algorithm control what it's feeding you, because then you're just going to get a steady supply of junk food. Like go on there and go out of your way to follow accounts that are things you're trying to improve on. And you'll eventually have an algorithm that's just feeding you stuff to improve all day. So if you are spending time on there for your business,
be deliberate.
Follow the right people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm not gonna lie, I do scroll social media, but when my feed right now is mostly like high school wrestling and track because my kids.
Your kids.
Yeah. And stuff for the tin industry and then like self-development and stuff like that, because I've gone out of my way to curate it. And I'm sure I get the occasional junk, but I'm quick to scroll off of it and not engage with it. It's like you need to understand that that's the more you engage with it. It's
reading you.
Yeah. It's giving you what you want. So if you're complaining the world's a dumpster fire, it's because that's what you're paying attention to. What you want. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So how long is this trade show for?
Till Friday. It's a 3-day.
Yeah. It's mostly it's sign show basically.
It's just sign and graphics. So mostly all like the big signs,
the embroideries, the LEDs. Printers, and then there's kind of like the wrap experience section. So it's more of the
we're
vinyl.
Like tucked in the back, and we have like the whole demo depot going and like
this one is interesting for us because we're linked up with the Wrap Institute for this one. So this is like the first time I'm doing demos where I'm not controlling every aspect of it. So normally we're on our own with Muto. We like coordinate the whole thing, pick the car, the design, everything. Like I do all of it. But this one we're just kind of stepping in and installing. I don't have to be on a microphone. Like so for us it's like really chill. We're having a good time. But this is our first ISA show.
Yeah. We're just answering questions all day and installing some stuff. So.
You typically come out to SEMA?
Yeah. Yes. We're always at SEMA.
SEMA's wild.
I love SEMA.
I'm so spoiled growing up here that like there's been years where I don't even go at all.
Yeah.
The last couple years since we've got this going, and it's like that's the other sweet thing we have going with the podcast is like when SEMA comes to town, we can schedule like 7, 8, 9 podcasts.
Yeah.
And bring people down.
Get a bunch of people.
That's
awesome.
a good idea. Everyone's coming into town.
So both of the last 2 SEMAs, we've banked about 7 or 8 podcasts.
Nice.
Awesome.
What's awesome about it is selfishly for us, like we're learning from people that we bring on every single time, but then we also get to share that with everybody.
It's cool.
And then the networking aspect of it, in my mind, that was the reason for doing the podcast is like, all right, networking is a powerful tool in business. Doing this is networking, but then you're expanding it to the digital reach of both people. So now people that follow us, they're going to be introduced to you guys and vice versa. And we've had a lot of local...
Helps everyone out.
Yeah, a lot of local business owners on and people that we've done work for out here and same thing, right? So it's like over time, it's just, I think, the next layer of social media. Plus it helps us create a bunch of clips. So like, and there be authentic, like rather than sitting down and trying to read off of a script, like we're going to make a clip real quick.
Yeah.
There'll be stuff that comes out of this conversation that I didn't even know was going to come out of it.
Came about genuinely.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
In an authentic way.
Yeah.
So what do you guys have going on besides the show? What's big going on for the business or the social brand or
what's going on?
What is going on
with us?
Any cool projects you're working on right now?
We just finished a really cool project, but it was just a full body clear prop, but it was such a cool truck.
You're kind of like underselling it though, bro.
I know. This truck, it was a 1972 C10.
Oh,
GMCC
But
10.
this
It was
was
like mint, green, and white.
It's called Double Mint. That's the name of the truck.
Double mint.
And this was like a $600,000 build. Like it's perfect in every way.
Wow.
Like the frame was custom, everything. And so like it was just a very cool opportunity to be able to. We had to clear bra everything on this
Literally,
truck.
he wanted everything
And it
clear
was
broad,
perfect.
hand trimmed,
in
like
perfect condition. Like
yeah.
that, it was actually really hard because the paint was so perfect that any marks or any debris that you got in there, you could see it. So it was very difficult to like
satisfying when you're done though.
Well, because we had to match the quality of the paint, and it was like
it was freshly painted.
It was freshly
really
painted,
nice.
so it was perfect. And so he was like, if there's any like even adhesive lines or anything, like you'll see them.
Yeah.
Right.
But that was fun.
Those are always fun. Is there any footage of that on your social?
There's
There
a
will
little
be.
bit, yeah. We've done little bits and pieces. We've been doing a lot of full body like clear bras lately.
Recently we've been doing a lot of clear bras.
We're starting to get into our custom projects for SEMA, so we're kind of like trying to brainstorm. We're in the brainstorm phase right now of like, okay, how do we top ourselves from last year? Because I feel like last year was our absolute best of the best with that vehicle that we did. So now we're like, well,
we like threw so many aspects into that wrap that it's like, how can you top that?
What was it?
It was
it was called Creatures of the Night. It was in our booth at Muto. It's a wide body Charger, and like probably our bread and butter at our shop like is Challengers and Chargers.
We have a lot of Mopar people.
Those are the car show people that want to go all out and do door jams and crazy. They're always competing with each other, so that's usually what we get. And we did this whole concept that like I pitched to the client, I pitched it to the designer and to Muto, and everybody was like, I don't think you can do that. Like, I don't think it can be done. I don't think it's possible. And I was like, just trust me on it. Like, if we pull it off, it's going to be awesome. It's going to
be cool.
And so what we did was it basically showcased kind of like Mother Nature and the nocturnal creatures of the night. So it had like foxes, owls in it, like leopards. And it kind of had like a Lisa Frank / Avatar kind of vibe to it.
Very colorful, but dark.
Yeah, like dark, feminine, but like Mother Nature. And the coolest part about this wrap, the thing that had never been done before on it, was that it was RGB light reactive 3D. So I know it's a mouthful. So like we had these lights set up on the side of the car, and they would go from like red to green to blue to purple.
All different colors.
As the colors of the lights change on the wrap changed.
So like changes.
So the design, it was actually designed in like 500 layers. So it was 3D. And so it would kind of move and shift and different colors would pop.
How does that look out in the sun?
And we printed it on a reflective film. Yeah. So that gave it another dimension.
So it was reflective, RGB, 3D, light reactive, and then it was also black light reactive.
And it was also black light.
So it had 3-dimensional effects within it. You put on Chroma 3D glasses on this car, and people were like sitting there and like, I feel like I'm tripping out on shrooms. Like, I feel like I'm on ayahuasca.
I had one dude walk up to me. He's like, dude, this is exactly like my ayahuasca trip. And I was like, that's awesome.
Like people loved it. And it just like blew them away because it wasn't like anything else that was at the show. Like there was it was an experience.
It was an experience, not just a wrap. That's what we were going for. We wanted people to like interact with it.
Yeah.
And like that, like.
Yeah. And for SEMA, I mean,
we went all out with that one. They had like new wheels. We did this like purple chrome tint on it, which is like so cool.
It was, the tint definitely helped. It was cool.
I feel like it was our best demo car in our booth by far. So I don't know how we're gonna top it.
I'm looking that up. It's got to be all over
check it out. Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
What is the Instagram that it's on? Is it the?
It'll be on.
I will pull that up for you. I think it's Lucy392. She lives over in Texas, but we named the car Creatures of the Night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we named it.
Okay, that's sick. Yeah, we've been doing graphics and wraps for a long time, but we've kind of steered away from doing a lot of wraps just because we're so busy with tent.
Yeah.
And we don't have the manpower and when people want full deep wraps, to take the vehicle apart. Just, as we're trying to scale up the tint side of the house, that's kind of the one thing that all we do for the most part now is commercial wraps, where they're not concerned with. You're not taking anything apart. It's the same thing.
I love when we get commercial stuff. Yeah. Like I actually wish that we had more of that because it's kind of nice when I can do just a nice clean surface wrap, minimal disassembly, like pretty quick, easy turnaround, as opposed to like the stuff that we normally do. I would say 80% of it is color change, personal vehicles and show cars and like custom stuff, or like the door jams and the underhood and the overwrapping. Like we always have those projects. And they're very time consuming, very tedious. And
we do like the car before that we did for SEMA, like we literally took everything off that car, like because we did all the jams, all like it was completely
like people are doing
disassembled.
trunk jams now.
That's
people like car shows, they will judge best trunk now. That's how like over the top it gets. And I've seen like cars with like straight up koi fish ponds in their trunk. Or like Nintendo 64 gaming setups. Like, so now it's like, okay, you can't just wrap your door jams. You have to wrap the trunk jam, the top of the trunk, the underhood, the hinges. Like people just keep taking it to the next level.
A lot of people won't do it. Like there's a lot of shops that just won't do that stuff. Because it's a very special.
We love it.
Like, and the only reason why, like, because I was a mechanic before I even wrapped. Like I've been a mechanic I went to school. I went to UTI and graduated there, and I was a full line tech at Lexus for a while and Ford, and I just got bored of wrenching, you know. So I had all this mechanical experience, and so a lot of people don't have a mechanic that they can do that with. And so it's definitely hard for a lot of shops to do all that disassembly.
We'll occasionally do it. It's got to be like a special customer, and then we're sending it to a body shop to be taken apart. And that's like a whole extra step, but very rarely. Like even I think we've got a PPF full color change in there right now at Tesla. That we've got a sub in here doing just because
there are certain things that like I feel like have to come off to do a good job. Like there's just certain cars that there are like handles. There are certain handles that you just have to remove them to be able to do a good job.
Well, sometimes it actually ends up cutting down your install time substantially and your quality.
If it comes off easy, I take it off because it creates a easier install. And it takes less time to install.
Like one issue we were having with that GMC truck that he mentioned, the C10, was like it has these like chrome trims that go all the way down the side of the car. And they were like, these are so hard to get off. Do not take them off.
They were like, we can't find these.
You're installing clear bra on like a gloss white paint. And then what happens is like as it's drying, this stuff comes out from the trim or from the seals. And then once it dries, you just like have a dirt edge of clear bra. And it's like, you can't do as good of a job. So we pulled them off, even though it was really hard.
I pulled them off, and we saved them.
But every car is different. So, like, if we're doing a Tesla, like you pull off the emblems, like you know what I mean, it's pretty easy. But there are cars that we will pull off bumpers, handles, mirrors, lights, seals, doors, like everything.
It just depends on the customer and the car and the coverage they're looking for.
I think it's similar for the tint side of the house. Like that's why I've moved over to architectural. Like dealing with houses and buildings. Pretty much the same thing over and over again. You come across the occasional like tricky thing that you haven't seen, but not very often. Whereas with cars, every couple of years they come out with a new model and they've got new.
You're always learning new cars.
There's something different and different manufacturers and there's so much variability when it comes to cars that it's you have to stay on top of it. If you're not constantly learning and staying on top of what the new trick is.
I get new cars in all the time that I have to learn while I'm taking it apart.
Is there like a project that you've done tinting that was like totally not a normal project, like out of the norm, a weird thing that you had to tint, like your weirdest project?
Weirdest? Oh man. I don't know. Skylights can be tricky. Big giant skylight that you can't even reach the whole window, where you've got to set up some kind of makeshift scaffolding over the top of it.
Well, skylights are usually domed too, right?
Or like the one I'm thinking of was on probably a $10 million house up in the hills, and I believe it was like 20 feet across, but they arched up into the center. And there was no way to, and down below was like 2 or 3 stories down. And it had to be it was exterior removal and replace, and figuring that one out was tricky. A lot of times it has to deal with windows that are up high. And you might not necessarily be able to get a lift in. Or putting scaffolding up for one window doesn't make a lot of sense. So you have to come up with some weird configurations for the ladder, which might not be OSHA approved.
We do that.
Where you just kind of have to
make it work
done.
Sometimes.
And those are the ones where it's like, okay, I'm not going to have any of my guys do this.
I'll do it.
Trying to think if there's anything that's been like really wild. It all seems so similar to me. No, there hasn't been anything crazy. I mean, we've done a lot of celebrities' houses and stuff like that.
Houses and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, that's been cool. That's the thing I like the most is there are so many crazy houses in this town.
Oh, yeah.
I think the people that just live here in like normal suburb houses don't realize how many high-end neighborhoods there are in this town.
Well, I was just driving in and seeing all the mountains here, like all those houses up there. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's a handful of communities here that are, I mean, one house over in the Summit Club, which is on the Summerlin side, which that neighborhood's insane, where we did 3 guys, took us 2.5 days to tint their garage. It was just the garage.
No way.
Yeah, that's how big this house was. So seeing houses like that's been crazy. Installing smart film, another big house like that. Eagle Century is like a home automation company out here that we do a lot of work for, and they'll sell smart film on like a building out the entire automation on a house.
Yeah,
and they'll offer the person smart film, so it's switchable. It goes from frosted to clear.
That stuff's cool.
So we had to do one of those on a front door and the 2 windows next to it. That when you walk in the front door of this house, the door was 5 foot wide, 10 feet tall, with giant weird shaped windows next to it, and that film doesn't even come wide enough, so it had to be seamed.
Really?
And both of the windows on the opposite sides of the door, when you walk in, you're walking in over a bridge because they have a pond on the inside of the house that wraps around that whole area.
That's awesome.
So I literally had to I actually used benches from my house for like a bench that I had in the backyard of my house that measured the exact perfect height to be able to set them down in the pond, put wood on top of them, and then set a ladder on top of that inside of their pond in order to then put this film on that cannot get wet at all. You have to install it dry.
Do you really?
Yeah. It's like installing a screensaver on a phone, but with 0 moisture.
No way.
It's a nightmare. If they're not big, it's not too hard. But as soon as they get big, you have to like tape it up in place, start peeling the liner off at the top, and then as it starts setting, it's just like a screensaver on a phone.
It just like
it'll lock
clean kind of.
Yeah, and if you don't get it clean, you got to lift it back a little bit. Otherwise, that air pocket's never coming out.
Really?
And on a 10-foot tall window that's 6 feet wide with a seam that you got to end up putting in it because it's at a weird shape.
That sounds fun.
That was a gnarly one. It looked cool as hell when it's done, especially because it's on a hill up here in Henderson looking over the valley. From the front door, you can see through past all the pond area and the spa that's inside, like next to the pond that probably fit 20 people. There's a living room down below that had a window that was 20 feet tall by 40 feet wide that from the front door, it like perfectly centered the entire Vegas Strip in that view. Yeah, it was wild.
That's cool.
Going on cool houses like that's probably my favorite thing.
That's dope.
Like there's so many crazy houses. We just did a bit on one recently that used to be Celine Dion's house. Apparently she never moved in.
No
It was
way.
at Summit Club, and this house was insane. Indoor basketball court, indoor bowling alley, soft serve machines. And those are like next to each other. So you can the bowling alley, and then you can see the full court basketball court from there.
No way.
Soft serve ice cream machines, like a whole quarters for all the help downstairs.
Wow.
Like
that's wild.
Yeah, going into those is always just like, okay, like there's levels to this.
Oh yeah. We've done a couple houses, just
We've done a couple architectural installs
stuff,
where,
and they were like really high-end houses.
Like, oh my gosh.
And you walk into these houses, and you're like, whoa, like this is crazy.
I love that.
Like, that's my favorite thing about doing houses. Is going on houses like those is like,
you get to see.
Although it does make me a little bit more ambitious than I should be, because like my house isn't bad. I live in a nice neighborhood. I'm doing all right. But you go into those and you're like,
oh my.
And you see it so often, you're like, okay, this is doable. Like we could do more. Like let's grow this bigger. Like we could definitely do more. And then you hear what the person does, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Like that and celebrities. Like my brother and my dad did Mike Tyson's house out here.
No way.
And then just like a year and a half ago, I got to do Francis Ngannou's.
Nice.
And then we actually just had to go back and redo it. There was that entire neighborhood had a bunch of faulty glass in it.
Oh,
really?
They
replaced like all the glass in the house, so we had to go tint it again.
Dang.
Yeah, that's the kind of the stuff that stands out more than anything. But it's not like having to take a $600,000 vehicle apart.
Yeah. It can be. You have to be very, very tedious about it.
The liability with that kind of stuff is just like
you have to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and it's like I know my brother is the one person here that like would be able to pull it off, but like he doesn't have the time to deal with it because we got so much other stuff going on.
Well, and stuff like that truck, when you work on stuff that's hand built, like you have to match what they did. So like there's a shim under this spot that is more shimmed than this spot because it's hand built, and like it's not like a normal factory car.
Yeah.
So you really have to know like how things are put together.
Yeah.
And I'll like take pictures of everything, how it is, how it needs to be put. If it's not put back exactly the same, it'll be better. Like that's usually I'll make sure it's done better or exactly the same. So like he was, and this Jason, like the guy who built this truck, was like, for him to even trust us with this truck, it's like his pride and joy.
Yeah.
Like he just finished it and he was just like, he didn't even want me to take it apart, but I told him, I was like, I have to take this apart. And
yeah.
he's like, all right. And so I did it and everything went well. And so it was just one of those things that like, you really just have to have that experience to do that. Like it's not something everyone can do, but there's also cars out there that everyone can do.
Yeah.
Like there are easy ones out there.
Yeah, for sure.
So
and that's like where we're at too right now is, we've raised our prices in the last couple of years, and it's, I know the front, when they tell someone a price and they're like, oh, I can get it done for $100 down the road.
Sure,
it's
you
like,
can.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, okay, go do that. There's a different market for everybody. In the tin industry, people like to shit on the people that are doing $99 tin jobs.
Yeah.
But in my mind, like, they're serving a different market.
Though you don't want those customers.
And like complaining that people are like bringing prices down. Like, no, the person that knows that they want it done correctly and with a quality product, they're willing to pay. Yeah. You just have to find those people.
You and I are not the same. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like that might be where the person's starting right now. And maybe 10 years from now, they'll learn and get better and be able to charge more. And that's just where they're at right now. And okay, cool.
No, there's definitely a market for everyone because I mean, there's customers that we don't want to work with that are just very cheap, and
I fully disclose that to people. Like when someone comes in for a consultation, whether they know who we are or not, I tell them like, look, we're not the fastest shop, we're not the cheapest shop. That is not what we are. If you want that, there's 100 shops that can do that for you.
Focus on quality.
We are very focused on quality, and if you want to take this above and beyond and like create a wrap of art, like we're your guys, but expect that the price is going to match that level of quality
custom
and that
costs.
Expectation.
Yeah.
Custom costs. Bottom line.
If you want custom something one-off, it's going to cost 100%. Whatever it costs.
Yeah.
And cheap customers tend to create expensive problems.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? If somebody wants to battle me on price, I don't even like play that game. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what? We can keep ourselves busy. We have customers that will pay this price and respect our process. So we're probably not the right shop for you. And that's okay to say no and turn people away.
There's 100 other shops you can go to and they're fine. You'll probably respect their quality because that's what you paid for.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah, no, that's going. I was still installing daily up until about a year and a half ago, and going out being exclusively doing consultations and sales now. That's one thing that I've like really come to understand is like, you know what? Like I'm gonna give them the price. If they try to price haggle me at all, like I'm sorry.
That's what it is.
This is what it costs to have us do it. Like, and I'll be straight up and honest. Like we're not gonna be the cheapest.
Yeah.
But we're going to get it done right.
But we're the best.
But it's going to be done right.
Yeah, it's going to get done right. I know that for a fact. And you're not going to have any issues. And if there is an issue, we're going to handle it immediately.
Yeah.
And there's people that want that. Yep. They're going to pay for that.
And those other people that you would go for it cheaper, they'll do it and then you won't be happy and then they won't fix it because it was so cheap. They're not going to.
Yeah. And if you go ahead and discount it just to get them in, now you're dealing with that problem. Yeah. And it's like, they're not just hiring you, you're also hiring them.
Yeah.
Like,
no, there's a customer for everyone.
Totally. Yeah. Again, it's that fixed mindset, growth mindset.
Yeah.
That person that's fixed mindset and like it can't be done any other way and this is the way it needs to be done. They're going to keep doing what they're doing and they're not going to grow. So I think that's a huge thing for this entire industry to like understand. If you're not trying to grow and get better all the time because you've been doing it for 10 years or 15 or
then you're going to fall
your
behind.
Entire life. Yeah. Like somebody else is going to come pass you by.
Well, there's always new products coming out. There's always new cars coming out. If you don't keep moving on, like it's going to move on without you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think like a good example to say like about that is like with vinyl, like color change film, you have your 3 to 5 year cast film, right? But now everyone's kind of gearing towards this colored PPF, so 7 to 10 year option. And if you want to be a relevant installer, you're going to have to be able to
install that.
Dry apply PPF and also wet apply PPF, or otherwise you're not really adequate in your industry because you're now cutting out 66% of the work that you could be doing, and you can only do this 33%. You know what I mean? So you do have to constantly be evolving and adapting your skills and being able to work with any kind of film, regardless, and being able to figure it out.
I tell people that all the time. They're like, a lot of shops are just like a one film shop. Like oh,
I
only use 3M or I only use Avery. It's like, yeah, that's fine and stuff, but like, you're never gonna expand. You're never gonna do things that like. Because we use so many different films, and I feel like that makes you a better installer because you can adapt to anything. Multiple different,
even the demos we were doing today, we're using a film that I've never used before, and they were like, "Hey, you're gonna go demo this on a car." It's like, okay, I can figure it out pretty fast what I need to do with that film. You know what I mean? If you're an adequate installer,
and but you're used to trying new films and learning them on the go.
Like I know how to learn the film really quick and fast because we've done it so many times, and there's always new films coming out, and I feel like the more films you know, the more adaptable you're going to be.
Yeah,
because the better rounded install you're going to be,
and the better solution you can provide your customer.
Yeah,
we've got the same thing on the flat glass side of the house right now. If you would have told me 6 years ago that the majority of what we're installing on commercial buildings was going to be exterior film, I'd have been like, "What are you talking about? And why would we do that?" But that's what's happening right now because the technologies and the warranties have gotten better, and the coatings on the glass are changing.
Okay.
And now all of a sudden you can give a 10-year warranty for an exterior film on a commercial job where you can only give a 10-year warranty for interior anyways. And the exterior is going to have a way better heat rejection. And sometimes the coating on the glass makes to where if you put anything on the inside, it's not going to work anyways.
Really?
So it's like, that's something that's just popped up. And I've been doing this my whole life. And us being on the curve of learning to use the meters to test the glass, it actually has become a sales tool for me to provide a better option for the customer than the person that comes in, doesn't test the glass and just gives them some options on the inside. They're going to max out in like 70% heat rejection, 79, where I can go exterior. And if your main concern is heat rejection, it's a commercial building, you don't care that it's reflective. So I can do interior inside your dental office, where we're going to have to do it during regular business hours. And you're going to have to move us between rooms while you're trying to see patients. We got to take blinds down, move furniture, all this other stuff. Or I test the glass and, hey, we can go exterior on this one, give you 91% heat rejection. I don't have to come in.
Bother you.
My guys can come early in the morning. You don't even need to be here.
Yeah.
You'll come into work that day and they'll already almost be done.
Yeah.
Like, that's a way better solution. I'm at the same price point.
Yeah.
Like, who are you going to choose?
Yeah. It makes way more sense.
Yeah.
It's a better solution.
Yeah.
And now, like, since I figured that out, we're leading with that more. And it's just like, we're installing it daily now.
Really?
And I would have never thought that exterior film was going to be like, and apparently in Europe and a lot of parts in the Midwest, the coatings that are coming on glass are making it to where you like, that's your only option.
Really?
Like if there's a coating, a low E coating on the interior surface of the window, you can't put anything on that or you're going to destroy that glass.
Really?
And if you don't test it and you put a razor blade against it, it's going to scratch immediately.
Because it has a
I'm just curious, like, how do you identify if it's there?
So we've got a meter from EDP.
You actually like put it up on the glass?
Yeah. I don't have it in here right now. But the big one we've got is the Glass Check Elite. It's like a $1,600 meter. But I mean, I can think of one job specifically that was a commercial building that I'm the only person that showed up on that bid and tested the glass.
Yeah.
Somebody else had already even put film on a section of the building on the interior, and it had a surface 3 coating. So you've got 2 panes of glass, surface 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is the interior. If it's surface 3 and you put high heat rejection film on surface 4, all that heat's being trapped in that glass and just going to radiate back in, and it's not doing anything. It might even make the problem worse, and it could potentially break the windows.
Crack the glass.
So I tested the windows, and they were complaining that the area that had already been done is the hottest area.
Really?
So I tested the glass, and I'm like, well, this is why. We need to get that off immediately. Then I showed them the exterior options that we had, priced it out, and we immediately had the job. And what ended up being lucky for us is the lift we had didn't reach 3 of the windows because of something that was in the landscaping that I didn't identify where we couldn't get it close enough. So we had to come back with a tilt up and do those 3.
Nice.
And they happened to be in one of the executives' offices, but like half of the office was tinted, the other half wasn't. So they got to feel a full day of those windows getting direct sunlight and standing in front of them.
Nice.
And being like,
whoa,
this is insane.
This makes
like,
a big difference.
Yeah, but like just that one project paid for the meter and then some. And that wasn't even probably the biggest danger, is putting that film on a window that you're going to break 1,000 square feet of glass.
Yeah.
How expensive is that going to be?
That'd be wild.
Like, I think in the past we didn't use them, and then we started using them, and it kind of seemed how it was always sold, is test it so you don't break windows.
Yeah.
So everybody, and my dad definitely did this, would just pick films they know we're safe no matter what. So now you're limiting your option of films you can use, and you're not providing the best solution. So testing the glass and understanding what glass you're putting it on, all of a sudden I can provide the best solution no matter what.
Yeah.
Rather than just guessing and saying, okay, I know this film is safe on everything.
Yeah.
Well, now Surface 4 has kind of changed that, because nothing's safe on the inside of a Surface 4.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you might get lucky and recognize it's there and still decide to install it on that surface and scrub it instead of scraping it.
Yeah.
But the second that film needs to come off, good luck.
Really?
Yeah, because you have to scrape the adhesive off. What are you gonna do?
That's true.
Yeah. So eventually it's gonna catch up to people that aren't testing. So,
That whole situation that you brought up kind of reminds me of like doing your due diligence with wrapping as well. So like a good example would be wall murals. A lot of people think that like a wall film is just kind of like a one size fits all, and it's really not. Like it depends on the surface of the wall, it depends on the paint on it, how long it's been painted, a lot of things. So like you can buy like, you know, wall adhesion test kits, like 3M has one. We've made our own one, but just going out and doing that homework, like I've talked to people that are like, oh, I just did 3,000 square feet and the film is falling off. What do I do? And it's like well, you're going to eat that cost because you didn't go and do a 1 hour consultation to go make sure that film's going to stick to that wall. Yeah. Like just doing your homework and that extra planning can save you a lot of money and time in the long run if you do that up front.
Yeah.
Or like measurements too. People like, you know, a customer will give you a measurement. They're like, this is the exact size of the window. And then it's like totally off. I don't trust anyone's measurements unless I've seen it myself.
Oh, we're the same way. So don't judge this one too hard. We never rolled this, because when we put it on, we're like, the texture on this wall wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
We're like, actually, we're just going to leave it unrolled.
No,
it looks really good.
Yeah,
it makes the wall look nice and smooth.
I love the ones that you don't have to totally post-heat in.
Dude. Yeah.
We've done, how many square feet in our wall have we done in our shop?
Just our brick wall is 70 feet long.
70 feet by 10 feet and then another 10 by 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
50.
Yeah,
so 50 and 70.
Rolling, that's fun.
Dude, and it's brick. We laid 70 feet in 3.5 hours together.
Yeah.
Like we have a really good method to full pull like whole walls together. So we get through those fast. Laid it in like 3.5 hours, and then it took like 3 weeks to just like
post-heat all the cracks.
I put my employees on it for like an hour or two a day.
And obviously,
it looks so good though. Post-heated.
Like if it was a real customer, we would have obviously done it a lot faster. But like, we were just doing a little bit every day, and it just took like 3 weeks to do it all. And it was,
we debated whether or not we were even going to roll this, and we are like, you know what, no, because we didn't like
the way the
texture. We didn't spend enough time like prepping it, but we did make sure it was painted freshly, but it was like, you know what, we're just not gonna roll it because it'll probably look worse. But I
love doing walls, dude.
I love doing when we get to do flat stuff. I'm like, this is a nice break, and we're like, we could be pretty efficient with square footage.
That's where the two industries are very similar. It's the same thing. Like, that's why I've helped the boys in the auto bay shrink like one back window this year, just because like I got here early, they were a little behind. I'm like, I'll shrink a back window, and like it's fun to do cars, but flat glass is so much simpler.
So easy. Yeah.
It's so much simpler.
Bigger projects, especially when you're used to cars the whole time.
Yeah. Like the amount of time you can get a big project done on flat glass compared to a car is not even comparable.
It's you can make way more money on just flat surfaces just because it's square footage.
Yeah. Do you do a ton of do you do a lot of it, or
not as much as I would like? I'd love to.
Yeah. We
occasionally we'll help out one of our buddies that does like all the like hotel installs for conventions that are there for like the weekend.
Yeah.
We'll
so it's like
thousands.
It's some kind
feet.
of like 3M removable film that you could stick on anything. You don't have to prep the surface. You don't have to measure anything. You don't have to post heat.
It's only up for the weekend.
You
and then
literally like pull
down.
it, you slap it down, you lay it down, and you're done. And we'll do like 5,000 or 6,000 square feet at a time. And I love when we get to do those jobs. Like,
it's easy.
And we get
it's
a nice
so
hourly
easy.
rate on that too. So I'm always excited when Matt books us.
But it's just like, yeah, like the wall, no matter what texture it is, it doesn't matter. Just put it over. It's coming down in 2 days.
Yeah, it's great.
They don't care as long as it looks nice. Like,
I know the people down at the convention, like they're constant. Actually, the one that I drive past all the time that I'm always wondering who has that contract is the UFC's headquarters.
Oh yeah.
In between every fight, they've got a wrap on the outside of the building of what the upcoming fight is. And every now and then I'll drive by and somebody's pulling it off and replacing it with the next one. But it's like,
that's a good job.
Yeah. And I mean, they're doing at least the main event every month. So it's like they're pulling
that's a big job every month.
Yeah. Every month they're pulling that whole thing down and putting
that's
it
all
back
you
up.
need right there. Just that one job.
I'm almost wondering if they're doing it in-house, but
yeah, that's a lot every month.
Yeah. Every time I see a big mural somewhere, I'm like, man, it'd be nice to get more of those. My idea I keep having that I want to make content of, but I just never have the time to do it, is I've got 5 kids and they've got rooms that like we could totally spice these
kids
up
rooms,
with
you could do some cool
like
stuff.
I think there's an opportunity to just, even if you just start with like doing a really cool design and wrapping your own kids room and making content of it and then pushing that out, like that's growing the pie, right? How many people then all of a sudden would want to do a custom wall in their kids room or a man cave or the garage?
Man cave, you could do
That's
something.
kind of how it was with our shop. Like I think for the first 2 years we had white walls and
I hate white walls.
Yeah, we did the floors first, we did the lighting second, and then we finally designed our wall murals, and like it's totally transformed our shop and it's doubled as content. Yep. So we did like episodes with Muto and General Formulations and like these big collaboration projects.
But it made it feel like home. It made it just feel.
But now it's like our space, and like sometimes we'll even have people like walk by our bay door that aren't even our customers. Like they're in the shopping center for whatever, and they see our murals and they're like, oh my gosh. Like, and they want to come in and then they're like, oh, what do you guys do? Wait, you wrapped these walls, but don't you wrap cars? Like it actually generates business just having those graphics up in our shop.
Yeah.
I had one dude drive by the other day and literally slam on his brakes because he passed by the shop and he like slammed on his
brakes. What is that?
Did you, so the floor, did you do some type of mural on the floor?
No, we just did epoxy.
It was just epoxy,
So that's the thing I've been thinking.
We want to.
So I've been thinking, like, if you put down a base coat of epoxy, like clear, could you wrap it and then epoxy over the top of it?
We've actually done it before. The private gym that we go to, it's this guy's in-home gym and it's all Marvel themed. Like to the wall, like everything is Marvel.
In the house.
The equipment,
It's wild.
the weights, like he has wall murals, and then we wrapped all the floors for him. And so they put like a self-leveling epoxy over his tile. Then we wrapped the floors, and then they epoxied it a couple times after.
Is there like a special laminate you need for that, or is it?
You can use.
There is floor laminates.
There is floor, but I feel like
that are
even
like more durable.
Even a normal film would be fine because I mean you're putting epoxy over it.
That's more what I was asking. The epoxy's not going to mess with it.
No,
as a curing.
Yeah, no, it did. No, it was fine. We've done it a few times and haven't had. We've even done it in businesses. We just put like logos on the floor and then they epoxy over it.
Because I'm planning on in the near future remodeling my garage and kind of turning it into a gym because I got a bunch of little athletes. I've always thought it would be cool to like wrap the floor in the garage to have some type of illusion art.
Yeah,
where it looks like
a hole or something.
Yeah, like a dragon down in there or something.
I want to do an optical illusion floor. That's kind of what our wall is. It's like trippy, mushroomy, melty, colorful. Like
we just wanted something really trippy
all
and colorful.
Over the place, but it's definitely an eye grabber. And people come in and it sells itself. Like, wait, you can wrap that? Wait, can you wrap this room at my house?
And then they go, oh, who painted that? And I'm like, it's a wrap. We're a wrap shop. And they're like, no way.
Got a good wow factor.
Yeah, that's where content shines in my eyes. Because like, if you take the time to do something creative like that, and it turns out really well, and you get good content of it, like, how many people is that going to inspire to like, oh, that like, you can do that?
My walls.
Yeah,
I can do that.
Well, and again too, like the whole butterfly effect. So like we started doing these walls, and it actually captured the attention of the Phoenix Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
And so then they're like, well, can you guys wrap like the CT scanners, which I've seen done before. People will do the face of them, but they're like, we want to wrap the whole thing, like inside it, the back, the top, everything.
That's such a cool idea.
We're
because
actually
kids are going in.
Yeah. So we're on our third one right now. We've done an ocean one, we've done a jungle one, and now we're doing like a space galaxy one. They're really colorful, and like the kids just, they love them. And then they're excited to like go through the machine. It's not scary one looks anymore.
Like a big whirlpool, and then there's like animal.
It's pretty crazy. It's and then just from that job, we got another crazy job out of it. And this is one of like the crazier things we've done. We've wrapped a 6-foot fiberglass sphere.
It's a big ball.
So it's this big 6-foot sphere that's at this like shopping center in downtown Phoenix. And they've been doing like window and wall graphics and stuff there for a while, like sprucing up the place, making it really artsy. And they've asked multiple shops, can you wrap this ball? Can you do something with it?
No.
They're like, no, it's too hard.
Too much math.
Yeah. It's impossible. You can't. And then this company saw that we were doing these CT scanners, and they were like, maybe they'll take it on. Like, let's try them. And so they like approached us about it, and they're like, can you do this? And we're like, I think I could do it. Like, and we were totally down to take it on.
Out.
And so we figured it out. And that was just like one job leading to the next job to the next job. So pretty cool. We've wrapped that ball twice now. We've wrapped it as a basketball.
Now a baseball.
It's a baseball right now. And then from this job, I had this astronomy museum hit us up that wants us to wrap an 11-foot sphere in like a Jupiter. 11-foot sphere.
I don't know how we're going to do that.
Yeah. And they're like, well, you did this 6-foot one, so you could do an 11, right? And we're like, okay, like 20 grand. And they're like, okay. So I'm hoping that one pushes through. But again, it's the butterfly effect.
It's
one thing leads to the next.
That's the I think even better than what we can do with tint and content is wrap is just like so.
It can be applied in so many outlets outside of what it's supposed to be.
And visually, you can, I mean, what it looks like in person is awesome, but if you can capture that on video,
it looks,
it's just like eye catching. And I don't know, when I come across something unique that's artsy on there, it typically grabs my attention.
Yeah.
And the algorithm's showing that to people that are interested in stuff that's creative and artsy and just like, I feel like rap content is just that's like a home run. I feel like for you guys is the fact that you started content early
when we
and then stuck with it and we're consistent with it because that's what matters. I'm sure your content's a lot better now than it was.
Oh yeah, dude. We literally started like by filming time lapses. Like before time lapses were a thing.
That was all
and those kicked off really well. And then we started doing these like really basic reveal videos like, hey, I'm Jess. This is like what we just did on this car. And then like all of a sudden we're showing up at trade shows and people are like, I know you from these videos. And that it's just crazy going full circle. And now obviously we're like trying to do the YouTube stuff and live videos. And we do a lot of demos as well. We do the performances, but
that's kind of how we started too. Like, I think as soon as the iPhone had the ability to do the time lapse, you can go back and look at some of our older YouTube videos, and it was me just like setting an iPhone up on a tripod with a time lapse, and that would be basically the whole video with like some cheesy free song in the background,
and then just like show the reveal at the end. And that's it. Well, it works so well with wrapping because sometimes a bumper's like 3-4 hours to wrap, like depending what it is, and it's like you can't capture that in a adequate video unless you like really see the whole process. So those videos are always very visually satisfying to our viewers.
One of our customers wanted to film for us, and that was how we created our YouTube channel. Todd, he was a customer of ours. And
that's cool.
He was like, hey, I could.
A lot of our customers end up being more than just customers. And like we're very relationship driven within our business.
Our customers are like friends.
We're very small mom and pop. That's how I sell us to people. And so we get a lot of return customers that we do their cars like 5 or 6 times. And these are like middle class, like normal, you know what I mean? Like people, they're not super cars. They're not $1 million cars, but they're daily drivers and they're show cars and they put a lot of money and time into them. And then 2 years later, they sell them and they start all over again. So we get a lot of those return clients.
Well, and some of them turn into other things. Like one of them, our Mopar customer, we've done a couple of his cars. And then he wanted, unfortunately, it didn't happen. The house that we were going to do, that was going to be really cool.
Which house?
His, Jason's house.
Oh,
remember we were going to do the murals? We were going to do his whole inside of his house in like this jungle theme.
Oh, that'd be
and
cool.
it was gonna
well, it was actually like a daycare.
It was
center.
a day. He was like, it was a house, but it was like a daycare. And so we were gonna do the entire thing, and like the whole staircase was gonna be a waterfall and all this cool stuff. But he ended up.
I think they had some like zoning law issues or something.
Yeah,
but we've done a lot of murals for his other business as well.
But yeah, and it's just really cool because like every customer, like even though we do their cars and stuff, sometimes they have businesses too, and you know we can.
That's the biggest advantage for us, like having the car side of the house for tint is there's a lot of, I mean, right now still we do a lot more marketing than we've ever done and spend quite a bit on ads, but 50% of our business is repeat and referral.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's how we are. Yeah.
And what's crazy about that, I heard Alex Hermosi say this once, like, spending money on ads and advertising is linear, right? Like you can only get so much out of at a certain point, your return on investment, as you start spending more on ads, it caps out and it doesn't make sense anymore because there's only so many people you can reach through an ad. But referrals are exponential. Like,
they never stop. I would like, we've never paid for advertising. I mean, we've paid people to make videos for us, like our videographer, but we've never like done the pay-per-clicks or like Google pay, like never paid for any kind of social media advertising. It has like just been genuine, repetitive posting and that kind of stuff. And we are very much driven by referrals. And
when we started, we were like, if you do a good job, people will talk about it. Like, and just keep doing a good job.
Especially
just
if you can infiltrate the car show
that job, that person is happy and they will tell their friends. They'll tell, and then that's what happened.
You get people that are in car clubs, they always have a friend and then they want to do it. So we end up, like I said, doing like all Mopars and Challengers and Chargers and stuff.
Now we're just like tied in with the car community and we just, we have all kinds of projects, really fun stuff like that. You know, not a lot of people get to do fun stuff.
Yeah.
But
the Wrap, PPF, tint, the entire, I kind of lump them all together because we've always kind of had some.
It's kind of the
we
same.
We're the same same, but different.
Same, but different.
But different.
But like, there's still so many different ways to do it. And that's the one thing that I think is common across the board. Like if you're doing a good job and you're taking care of your customers, they become loyal. Like we have customers that we've tinted 20 cars for. Then we've probably done a couple of houses for that same person. My brother had a customer that I kid you not, he would buy a new car every 2-3 weeks, it felt like a while there. But he knows all of our guys are good, but he wanted my brother specifically to be the only one that ever worked on his stuff. So my brother would schedule off anytime and it was like, I think he's probably tinted 30 cars for this guy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I actually haven't seen him in a minute, but it's just like, he'd bring in a brand new badass like Challenger or something that's just immaculate, have us tint it. A month later, he's back in. I didn't really like it. Now he's in with a new Jeep.
Got a new one.
And like,
it's a good customer.
We actually sometimes get customers that will just revamp every time they trade their car in. So like, there's a period of time where they were all making money on their Mopars. So they like, I swear, like we had like 8 customers that all traded in, and they did it like 2 years in a row.
It was like all
so
at the
we'd
same
like
time,
do a design on their car, and then they would trade it in, get the newer year, and then we'd upgrade that design just a little bit, do it on their car again. And so like, for example, I have this this chick named Penny, and we've done this like butterfly cut design on her car, and we've done it on 5 of her Challengers or Chargers. But
it's always the same
because she just keeps trading it in, and she's like, I want to do it again, but new colors and add more of this and that. So
and it keeps evolving into something more.
It keeps evolving, and like our one of our SEMA cars, our Starscream Hellcat guy, we are now in the 3rd rewrap of the same concept, same car, but upgrading it. So sometimes they just keep like upgrading their same design, which is cool.
We've done like 7 cars for him, at least 7 or 8. He's a really good customer. He sends us a ton of work. He's just,
we have very, very loyal clients.
Yeah, they are. It's awesome.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen unless you are treating it the way you're treating it. Like, you do see it as a relationship, and you want to make sure you do quality work.
Yeah,
I think that's the key. Like if somebody's starting in either of these industries, and you think you're just going to make money by just slamming work through the door and not making sure it's
enough. It's not enough just to be good at what you're doing. Like you have to give people a reason to want to come back to you and want or want to pay that extra money for you. You know what I mean? So it's super important.
Yeah.
And the content thing, I always come back to that because in my mind, like it's if you're putting out what you're doing and you're proud to put out what you're doing and you're consistently doing that, and people can even see the quality of that improving, they know that, okay, they're putting time and effort into this, and you're just reaching more people.
Yeah.
And it's like, it expands that whole reach of, you know, you have that customer that you've done 7 jobs for. I'm sure they have a social media account and they're sharing it on there. And I don't know, just, I feel like, and the fact that you've been able to do it without any paid ads is quality referrals and organic content, creating new customers constantly. So when you do have that custom project, I mean, how did they see the fact that you did those scanners? You made content of it, right?
Yep.
And that's what led to the next thing.
Butterfly effect.
I think our content did really well because it was like a form of training in a way, but it was fun.
Yeah.
So like, we kept it very light, and
we get hired a lot to help product launch stuff or try new films out, and they want us to do a tutorial on it. And like a lot of times what they'll do is they'll hire like Justin with the Wrap Institute, and he'll do the very formal training version. And then they hire us to do the more informal, fun.
It's just like talking about it.
Like really talking about it from installer point of view. This is how we feel about it. And like very much just like ourselves. Like that's one thing I will say, like with filming, is like, you cannot feed me lines. Like you cannot give me a script. I'm not an actor. I cannot hide anything. So I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, and I'm going to be honest, and I can only be myself, and that's it. And I think a lot of people like really, really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are afraid to do that. They're afraid to put themselves out there. Like I know even us doing this has made it to where we put out a lot more organic content of us just talking to the camera now, because we feel a little bit more comfortable. For me, I think it started with stories. Like when I realized like, oh, I can like post a story on Instagram, and if it sucks, it's going to be gone in 24 hours, whatever.
And just keep
and then realizing even more than that, like, okay, well, same thing with like a reel. If I post it and it sucks and only 100 people see it, only 100 people saw it.
Yeah.
Like, but at least 100 people saw it. And like, but like the algorithm like knows based off of how people are interacting with it and engaging with it, if it's watchable or not. And it kind of stops showing it to people at some point if it sucks. And now you know, okay, let's try something different.
It's weird what pops off and stuff.
Yeah.
Like certain things that you don't think will pop off, they do. And then you'll try really
like
hard.
Minimal effort.
You put minimal effort in, and it's like you get 2 million views, and you're like, what the, like, I didn't
But then
even
you
try.
like sit and like really try to make
and
this
it gets
nice
nothing.
one.
I don't,
fine.
I'm not going to try anymore.
I'm a big fan of Gary Vee. And like the thing I've realized for us, even taking content and using it to make paid ads, is let the algorithm do the work for you. Like rather than trying to curate this perfect thing, make a ton of content, try to get better at it. And the more volume you put out there, the algorithm's going to let you know like, hey, this one just popped. All right. Hey, let's turn that into an ad now, because clearly people are engaging with it. They're watching it. So you don't need to pay like some marketing agency to like split test and develop this perfect ad for you, where you can just every day you could be testing stuff. And if it hits, it hits. And now all of a sudden do that again.
Keep doing that.
Or push it out as an ad. Like I've seen a lot of people that have one video hit and now that's their entire feed. It's basically
they just keep doing that video.
Same thing over and over again, just a little different. Wearing a different color shirt.
If it works, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
I mean, if you're getting the attention that you need and it's working, like, cool. But being creative and being able to just constantly try new things, I think, is the key. Because now you're taking so many more at bats. And then the algorithm lets you know. Because, like you said, I've definitely had videos when I was still doing a lot of the editing, like in between installing. I'd put a ton of effort into one and nothing would happen. And then I'd build one out in 5 minutes at the end of a job because I'm waiting on the contractor to come over and sign off on it. And before we leave the site, it's like blowing up. And I'm like, just did that in 5 minutes with no effort. What happened to the one I spent an hour editing?
It happens every time.
I don't know. Like anybody listening, that would be my biggest advice on social, even though we're still learning and growing on it. Just don't be afraid to put it out there. I mean, it might work, might not. You're going to get 0 views from 0 videos, right? Like, but the more you put out there, the better you'll get at it. The same thing with wrapping a vehicle or tinting. Like the first vehicle you ever wrapped probably didn't come out perfect in the first try, right? Now you're putting out work that people come find you specifically to get their $600,000 truck done because they know they can trust you to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
You can get good at social media the same way.
Yeah, definitely.
So what else do you guys have going on? You want to talk about or announce or anything?
What do we need to announce?
Anything special coming up
Not
or anything?
really. Like I said, we're mostly just starting to brainstorm our SEMA. Like how are we going to top ourselves?
Oh, SEMA.
What booth will you be at this year?
So we're typically contracted under the Move to America booth. So that's the company that makes our printer.
Okay.
So we have a eco-solvent printer in house, and their American headquarters is also in Phoenix.
Okay.
So they actually found us like attending SEMA, doing demos for another booth probably like 7 years ago.
Okay.
So we're pretty much contracted by them every year. So we bring a car in and showcase that and do demos and bring a few other cars as well.
Yeah. But we have to like start planning like right away every year or else. And even if we do, it always falls to the very, like our SEMA car last year, we finished it at 6 a.m. in the morning.
And then drove up here.
And then
that was after working like 3 100-hour weeks in a row.
Straight.
We got so slammed with SEMA cars that all got delayed because of designers or material delays,
no matter how much
or whatever.
You plan.
Yeah.
And so you just have to suffer and like do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So before SEMA last year, it wasn't wrapping a vehicle or anything. We were in the middle of finishing this out and having to have this ready to record like 9 podcasts.
Yeah.
And my brother was out of town for a vacation or something that it was planned right before then. And I was down here for an entire night through the next morning, like finishing everything up right to the morning of SEMA. Like, and it's coming, but somehow it still ends up being right down to the wire.
It always does. Yeah. I don't know how, but it.
So what's funny is how much you can get done in a short amount of time when you're up against the gun.
Oh yeah.
Like all of a sudden you move a lot faster.
Like, that normally would have taken me way longer. Yeah. You're just like, but you just have to put your headphones on and just grind.
You got to be willing to do the grind.
Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's a good place to end it. Where can everybody find you?
So we're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Our shop is called Wrap Sesh. You can also find us as Vinyl Vixen Wraps, and we're over in Arizona. If you guys are ever out that way,
check these guys out. Their content's awesome. And if you're at SEMA this year, go by Mudo's booth and check out what they're doing because I'm sure it's going to be special.
Hopefully, we'll have something.
It's going to be neck breaker, whatever it is.
I'm excited. I'll be over there for sure.
Yeah.
And it'd be good to see you guys again at that time.
Definitely.
You guys know what to do. Subscribe, follow them, follow along. If you're coming to SEMA, go check them out. Thank you.